good. So, if you can't tell, had a little tricky time getting live going today, but here we are. So, make sure we get the comments on the right one. But here we are, just outside, maybe five minutes away from the dungeon. Arm wrestling practice today. In the dungeon. It's gonna be a good one. I wonder who's gonna show up. I wonder, it's a little cold. I bet the Chief's been out there, getting the coal and the wood stove going. Think so. I'm just seeing what some of these buttons do. Well, let me know if you guys got any questions. Anything arm wrestling, powerlifting, strength related. It should be a good one. Also, too, if I'll say this a couple times. I put the link in the description to this video. So if any of our friends wants to hop on, talk about arm wrestling, feel free. Just got to go to the description. At the bottom of the description, just copy and paste it right into a internet browser. What's up, Harry? It's a good day. How are you guys doing today? Yeah, it's a little cold here. It's a little cold. Jackson says, "Hi, I'm new." What's up, Jackson? So that being said, we have a question we like to ask new people. If you may not know, this is an arm wrestling channel, Jackson. So who is your favorite arm wrestler and why? Why are they your favorite? And Harry says, "Where's the other pal?" So he is driving to, we live in different states, so he's driving to a different practice today. So he's not able to, make it this one, but he's here in spirit. So don't feel sad. Larry Whistle says, chronic stress ages the body faster than poor diet. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But that could be open ended. I feel if someone really, really, really pushes their diet, they could probably speed up the aging process faster with the diet. Yeah, but the stress is no good. But I tell you what's good for stress is lifting. Lifting's good for stress, and even arm wrestling. Some would say arm wrestling might be better. Those might be arm wrestlers. Here he says, "What's your name, amigo?" My name is Nick. My name is Nick. As you can see right there in the comment And Nightbot, that's like an AI thing, some robot thing. But he or she, I don't know, it's 2026. he, he put my Facebook right in the link, right there. If anyone wants to send a friend request, soon we'll have a whole bunch of Total Man 3 information up. I know people are coming all over the country. We've had people, I think the furthest we've had so far, I think, is Canada, maybe. If you go by distance, it might be the state of Georgia. If you go by distance, Jackson, I'm not sure who that is. Is he an arm wrestler? If he's an arm wrestler, why is he your favorite? And Harry says, "Great to know you, Nick." Oh, well, I definitely appreciate that. Glad to know you too, man. And that being said, with all the tournaments and all the practices, all the lifting, it's only a matter of time before we meet up at a tournament. It should be a good one. Jackson says the WWE. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. This is a different type of wrestling. Some would say better. But arm wrestling. Have you ever watched arm wrestling as a sport? Good old arm wrestling. Now, I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I know they've had arm wrestling matches in, you know, WWE matches before. So maybe that guy has had a arm wrestling match in the WWE, maybe. Harry says the other guy was great fun to watch too. Absolutely. That's why we got him. You know, he's a good guy. He's a technology guy. Plus, lots of entertainment. And if he's watching, if he's listening, he's nodding his head. So Jackson says, "I will in Kentucky if we have a winter storm emergency, so I'm more prepared." So you're gonna have a sounds like you're having a winter storm in Kentucky. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was a fast Mustang. I don't know if you heard that or not. Um, but I know some people down south, and I know when as soon as one snowflake comes, it gets them. So hopefully you don't get no snow because I bet all the towns down there, there's no plows, there's no nothing like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Harry says in WWE, Triple H and Scott Steiner did have an arm wrestling match. That's the one I'm talking about. Yep. Also, Great Khali and John Cena. Oh, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. But I know about the Triple H and the Steiner match. I watched that one. I'm pretty sure I watched that. I don't know if it was live, but I watched it as on, on the TV as a kid. Jackson says we're supposed to get up to 2 feet and maybe 3 or 5. Oh, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Let me give you a little hint. I don't know if you ever driven in the snow or not. Me personally, I don't know if your car has traction control, but make sure you turn off your traction control. Because me personally, I think it's the worst thing ever in the snow. Um, so you have to let me know. Drive out in the snow, turn off your traction control. Let me know if it works better. Harry says, I'm sure you'll beat Great Khali holding a beer. I won't be holding a beer, but I'll be holding one of these things, maybe. Yeah, I'd smash him. I'd definitely smash him, but that's not, now that is not a knock at the Great Khali. He just, he's not an arm wrestler. That's like me going into the WWE and trying to have a WWE match, you know. But if that being said, if the WWE is watching, and they want to watch one of their biggest, baddest guys get smashed by an arm wrestler, we could definitely make that happen. Let's see. Let's see. I don't have any of the stuff with me, but Josh was here. He'd probably say it's a good time to talk about the memberships. But before that, make sure you guys. Looks like you guys already hit the thumbs up, so I appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And after that, if you guys are feeling crazy, if you want the gains, definitely become a member. There's a bunch of great stuff. There's the first ever Dungeon Super Series, 9 incredible matches, legends, some of the best guys in the country, some of the best ladies in the countries. There's 1 versus 3 matches. Um, there's a 5% discount on stuff like, I wish I had them with me, but we got the Team Stone strap, the corn cob, Team Stone shirts, and as well as coaching. You can use the 5% discount, a member discount if you're a member on all those things as many times as you want, as long as you're a member. Um, we have one piece of merchandise that the membership discount is not applied to. That is the Turtle Man 2 t-shirts. That's because 100% of the money from the Turtle Man t-shirts is given to the Turtle Man charity. And the third one is coming. Soon we'll have all the information. I know people are coming from far away. They want to get the hotels, so we're going to get the information out as soon as possible so people can, save them a little bit of money. But Est, what's up, man? He says, what's up, Big Nick? What's up, man? I'm doing good. How you doing? Carolyn says, hey, Nick, what's up? Happy Gains Day today, friends. Absolutely. What's up, Carolyn? She knows what today is. Today is arm wrestling. And speaking of arm wrestling, Brian's probably on the way with the Joneses right now. Brian's got the little muscle emoji going. Let's see, what time is it? What time is it? 9:09. So I'm guessing if they're not on the road, they're just about to be on the road. I wonder. I hope it's a big practice today. I hope there's like 50 people in there. I hope there's so many people that from the outside, the dungeon is just like shaking. There's so many people in there. But we'll see. We'll see. It should be all right if we have that many people. Over the summer, Chief and I, we beefed up the supports, so it should be a little better. So Alan says, Nick, are you thinking of having Turtle Man at the fair? If so, have you been to the fair before? And is there a pie eating contest? Ah. So I've been to that fair before. It's the Lebanon Fair. Um, it's a nice fair. It's a very nice fair. Now it we it's not locked in, but it's 95% looking like it's going to be at the fair. We should have everything locked in within a week or two, in terms of date and time and stuff like that. Now, in terms of that pie eating contest, I'm not sure, but you would think there would definitely be something. Um, I know it's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The last time I was there, I was only there for a Saturday I wasn't there for the full day. So there's got to be something. If not, maybe we could have a pie eating contest, either before or after the tournament, like a fun raffle or something like that, because that would be really fun. Maybe after, maybe at the end of the tournament, because it sounds pretty messy. That's a good question, Carolyn. Harry says there was this one guy, Alexander Zirkarov, if I said that right, might be my accent if I said that wrong, who became viral on YouTube. Says 20 years old and beating heavy bodybuilders in arm wrestling. Is it true he has so much power? So I'm not I'm not recognizing that name. Alex Alexander Zarkov. Now maybe I've seen him before. I'm not familiar with that name for some reason. Now I've probably seen him, but I'm not. I always mix up the foreign names. But that being said, if he's beating up all the bodybuilders, um, my first thought is, bodybuilders are usually strong, but they don't know about arm wrestling, or most of them don't. Um, yeah, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. And those bodybuilders, those strong bodybuilders, are one of the highest percentage of someone to break their arm, I would say. So that guy's got to be careful unless he's going, unless he's just doing it for the views. 'Cause if that happens, he'll probably get a whole bunch of views. It says, "What you drinking today, Nick?" Ah, that's a great question. That's a great question. So this one is, it's a Bang. So if Bang's watching, we're looking for sponsor. But this one's a blue Raz. So it tastes very blue. Galen says, "Oh, nice. That is thrilling. So old school, and everyone loves a fair. That's fun, Nick. LOL. I wonder. I'll have to see if there's a campground nearby. Thanks for the info, Nick. Mega gains. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Now, this is what I'm about to say is not locked in. It's just something I would really like to see happen. It would be a lot of fun. It's not locked in. We Last year, James Clark gave me the idea of getting like an Airbnb for all the arm wrestlers and anyone else that wants to, hang out with the arm wrestlers. So that is something that's on the table. So if we get enough people, we can get like an Airbnb for the athletes and anyone else that wants to hang out with the athletes and all the people. Um, Now it's not locked in. It's just something I think that would be really, really fun, especially, you know, that Saturday night after the tournament and, Sunday, we could have a whole entire weekend of arm wrestling. Aaron says, one more thing, Nick. Do they have a booklet or a flyer with a 3-day event at the fair? Um, Now I'm not 100% sure. I definitely think they do. When I had the meeting with them, that's something I'll get. I'll get all that information. Um, yeah, when I get all the information, I'll definitely post it. Carolyn says, I feel like a venue is a venue, but a fair is a party. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great time. Um, I mean, there's going to be a whole bunch of food there. And, I know there's like the last time I was there, there was like, um, people were making like homemade drinks and stuff like that, different. different beers and all that other stuff. So it's going to be a good time. Harry says, thanks for the info, man. Absolutely. I'm glad it helps out. I says, tastes very blue. Oh, I understand that. Yeah. I always thought it was funny that they called the drinks blue raspberry, knowing that the blue raspberries don't exist. Ellen says, and the Cam Bennett of the world with grippers and pinch grip at fair. Let's see. Ellen says, Nick, sounds good. Not this year or another year, etc. Yeah, exactly. If not this year, we'll definitely get it. But yeah, it's going to be something that's once we get everything, like the main stuff for the tournament locked in, then we'll start thinking about that. It should be fun. Carolyn says, Nick, yes, pulling party and practicing. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking, like that Sunday could be, just all the arm wrestlers hanging out, arm wrestling, you know, passing knowledge back and forth. Carolyn says, hashtag blooming onions, ice cream, pizza, etc. Yes, LOL. Very true. I hope they have some blooming onions there. They should. I feel like that's part of the fair. So S says, can you beat Leonidas? What's the strength gap or levels between you guys, or like any idea? So I think I would beat Leonidas. I think it'd be a good match. If that match happened, I would take it. But I think I would beat him. I think I have the advantage on experience. Now, he's extremely strong, but even styles wise too. Styles wise, I think my style is a bad matchup for Leonidas, but he's definitely strong, and I'm excited for that match he has with Brian. Yeah, that was a good question, Est. Yeah, I definitely think I'd beat him. So Leonidas, if you're watching, I beat you. Alan says, Nick, my bad. LO. I meant the people that love grip and the pronation lifts. Be nice to have people are drawn to weights at a fair. I saw the National Guard had a setup with barbell at a fair and draw a crowd. Also, I love the outreach aspect of a fair. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, that's definitely a cool idea. We could definitely do something like that. That would be cool. That would definitely be cool. And Carolyn says, great place to sell t-shirts also. Yeah, absolutely. There should be a whole bunch of people, even just people that, have no idea there's going to be an arm wrestling competition going on, walking by. Last year we were strict with the novice class. This year we're going to continue that. Now, when I say strict with the novice class, novices will be first time only. So what that means is first time seeing a table, first time ever arm wrestling on a table. If you have gone to a team and you have practiced, if you have practiced with the team, you will be in the amateur class. Now, novice is going to be a true no experience. Now, I'm going to have to check. It's been a while since I read the dictionary, but I think novice, by definition, means no experience. So if you have one practice, any kind of table time, any kind of fair tournaments, if you ever pulled in a fair before, you will be an amateur. The novice class is going to be, the reason why we're so strict with it is to protect the new people and also prevent trophy hunters. Now, when I say trophy hunters, I think most people know what I mean, but when I say trophy hunters, I mean people that stay in the entry level classes for a long time, um, beat up on all the new people. But I feel like we know, the team and I know enough people that if we see someone that looks like they shouldn't be in the novice, we'll get them. We'll get them. Galen says, love it. Hashtag novice. Absolutely. Galen says, that's a great promo across the internet. Novice. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so at least for me, I remember my first tournament. I did one practice, and then I went to a tournament, which I entered a novice class. Um, I won left, but in the right hand, I came second to a gentleman that's been pulling for like 6 or 7 years. I remember even then it didn't make sense to me. How could someone pull novice for 6 or 7 years? But that's good. That's good. Bo, what's up, man? Did you start the fire in the dungeon? So I'm not sure, but I'm at the gas station outside, near the dungeon. A little better service. I would I'd like to hope the chief started the fire, but I know the chief. He probably started it. He probably started it. A couple days ago, and it's probably been really cooking it. So I bet it's going. But Bo, we will find out when we get there. Yep, it's gonna be a good one. Speaking of sponsors, we talked about the sponsors yesterday, but we were talking about the Turtle Man event. See that name right there, Starminski? That's Bo. And Bo was our main sponsor for the first event and our second event. So you guys need any power washing, definitely check out Bo on the go. Does a great job. Carolyn says, let's like and share, friends. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Carolyn. Hit that thumbs up button. It looks something like this. Caspin, what's up, man? Caspin, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've seen you before. Maybe I have. I don't got the best memory, but I think you're a new name. So we like to ask this question to new people. Who is your favorite arm wrestler and why? Oh, with this question, he definitely arm wrestles. Caspian says Fatali versus Devin left-handed incoming. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about that match. Um, I mean, I think it's going to be an absolute win-win for the fans. At first, I got the tally winning 3-1, 3-2 maybe. But now as it gets closer, I think I'm starting to switch over. Maybe Devin might win this match. What do you guys think? Vitali or Devin, left hand, who wins that match? Right now, I think I can't decide at this moment. I know it's lefty. That's very interesting. Let's see. Bo says Vitali will win and Devin will act stupid. You never know. Could be. Could be. Alan says Devin until the rules get changed after a year. Mr. Baxter agreed to not change them for a year. He wants efficiency and more matches. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. More matches, more efficiency. That's a win-win right there. I think the thing with oh, real quick, let me see what Caspian says. I said that. Caspian says I would have voted Devin if it was on right-handed, but right now Vitali is going to crush him. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that thinking. If you asked me like a couple weeks ago, I probably would have felt like that. For some reason, as it gets closer, I feel like it's going to be a very, very interesting match. Bo says you win because you are stronger, not because of the rules. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Bo. I think the thing with the rules that gets so let's see. I think if we were going to make the rules as efficient as possible, is to stop leaving the rules up so subjective per the referee's view. Now, what I mean by that is, like with the fouls that, that don't count as a foul because you didn't gain any position, stuff like that. But just because you didn't gain any position also means you didn't lose any position. So that could also be an advantage. So it gets very tricky. So I think the best thing to do with the rules is to make them very basic. When I mean basic, I mean if it's a foul, it's a foul. It's as simple as that. If you elbow foul, it's a foul. Um, if you early start, it's a foul. Stuff like that. Um, and Bo says, "We all know rules do not apply to Devin." Well, I could definitely see that thinking, but if the refs aren't calling anything, he's not breaking any rules. So it's got to be something with the referees or something with the rules, or he's not breaking any rules for that organization. Oh, Lucky, what's up? I can't see your message because it says message retracted. Unless you just typed that into as a joke. Did you just type in quotations message retracted? Oh, there it is. Lucky says, "Good morning. Go big or go home." Absolutely. That's a good mindset to have. Lucky, you got any matches locked in since the last time we talked? You got any new matches locked in? 'Cause I know you've been going on a tear lately, doing it great, doing great. Anything coming up, Lucky, since the last time we talked? Lucky says, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna start doing that." Yeah, that's funny. Oh man, that's like what's it like when you call someone that says this number is out of service or something like that? It's like that. That's funny. Lucky says one left hand for June, but not announced yet. Okay, so I see what she's doing. She's building up the suspense. She's building up the suspense. Everyone's wondering. I'm wondering who that match is going to be with. So Carolyn says, Mr. Bo, I hear you. I know Devin is a great ambassador, but since his wife kneeling and hollering and him whining at table, I not watched a match of his. I could see that. That's that's one of the benefits of being a fan, and there's so many matches is you could pick who you like to watch. There's nothing wrong with being a fan and picking who you like to watch. That's your right as an arm wrestling fan. I definitely think a lot of people feel the same, but as we know, a lot of people enjoy that stuff. So I think it's good to have both. Bo says, "Thank you very much." His wife is really annoying. Yep, and that goes back to what we talked about. You're right as a fan to pick and choose. That is funny. That is funny. Let's see. If you guys can, remember to hit that thumbs up. Definitely helps out the channel. Bo says, and they really pushing their sons into arm wrestling, and they're not ready. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I could definitely see that thinking. But personally, I think they're being pretty smart with the matches, or at least most of them. Um, I mean, the Suns are in a tricky position, 'cause they got the Lariat last name, so they got everybody that wants to get them, that wants to get a win on their belt. So I'm sure they're getting a ton of match offers. So I think they're being relatively smart with the matches they're accepting. But I could definitely see what you mean, Bo. Bo says not on the world level yet. I could see that. They're still young. They're still young, but I think they have a lot of momentum. Plus, I think that whole entire family, I think they work extremely hard. So if they keep that work ethic up, I think it's only a matter of time. Um, only match that didn't make sense to me that I've seen was I can't remember if it was I think it was Aiden versus Leroy Walker. Now, I did think uh, Aiden had a chance to win, but there was just too much of a power difference. But I did ask Leroy to arm wrestle for the first ever Dungeon Super Series. He wasn't able to make it, but he must like to arm wrestle the lightweights. So, Leroy, if you're watching, if you want to arm wrestle a heavyweight, a super heavyweight, let me know. I'll show you what it's like to arm wrestle someone your own size. At least weight wise. I think I'm a little taller, but weight wise, we're about the same weight. So Carolyn says, Nick, I hope you get Mr. Baxter on with you one day because Turtle Man has the best rules, and James Clark, a great man to have on the call. Next generation. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Carolyn. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. And I know I'm definitely biased, but I think those Turtle Man rules that we did last year, the second Turtle Man, were the best rules that I've ever competed in as an arm wrestler, as a promoter, as a referee, even for a fan, as a fan watching. Um, the only thing negative that I heard about the rules was it's just a little confusing. Not because of the rules. I think it's just because there's some new stuff. I think something that's very, shouldn't say tricky with these rules, but if you're a smart person, it's very easy to overthink these rules. Because they're so simple. So if you overthink them, you can really overthink them. But they're very simple. They are what they are. The rules are the rules. If it's a foul, it's a foul. It's as easy as that. I was wondering why YouTube hid a comment. So, Bo, I don't know if it shows or not on your thing, but YouTube itself hid this comment, but I could see it, but I'm not going to show the people. Well, whatever you do, Bo, make sure you wash your hands. So Lucky says strongman versus arm wrestlers are definitely not going arm wrestlers' way. Haha. So what do you mean by that? You mean the strongman are beating arm wrestlers? Strongman versus arm wrestlers are definitely not going arm wrestlers' way. Haha. So do you mean the strongman are beating arm wrestlers? Is that what you mean, Lucky? Galen says yes. There was way no downtime. Yeah, everything moves. It was very smooth. Um, and one thing I really like about it, I like the consent rule. If both athletes, if they want to go, if both athletes say yes, we're good, the next command is going to be don't move, go. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say at least 60, 70% of the matches, both athletes said yes. So it was very, very, very smooth and quick. Like he says, Baxter told me a month ago that he was going to come on Lucky Ones, but then never did. So, oh well. Well, we're gonna have to shoot Baxter a message. Can't be leaving Lucky hanging. She's got now. Maybe I'm wrong, but Lucky's got to have one of the biggest female arm wrestling channels on the planet, if I'm not mistaken. Now, maybe I'm mistaken, but Lucky has to have one of the biggest female arm wrestling channels on the planet. So I would definitely think Robert would not want to miss something like that to get a whole bunch of new ladies into the sport. Now maybe he's just busy, you know, but maybe some of our friends in the chat could shoot a little reminder message. Say, hey, remember, don't forget about Lucky. That would be a good conversation to have. Caitlin says, shoulders down to hands. Just tell them the line to everyone 100 times. I think I'm overthinking that, Carolyn. For some reason I'm not understanding that. I think I'm overthinking it. Lucky says yes, Brian versus Brandon, Leroy versus Auden, Ashley versus Sarah. Okay, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. I think Brian is a little, out of all the strongmen, he is the one that's the closest to an actual arm wrestler. He may, if you look at his training and he's only competing in arm wrestling right now, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. We just talked about that Leroy versus the Aiden match. That's very interesting. But it's definitely about time for us arm wrestlers to start stepping it up. We can't have all these strongmen coming in here and taking the show. Lucky says, I'm the only female arm wrestling podcast in the planet. Haha. So sure, we can say biggest. Absolutely. That's what I was going after. That you should what's your Lucky, do you have like a catchphrase logo? If not, something like that would be real cool. The biggest arm wrest the biggest female arm wrestling podcast on the planet. And there's only one place to watch, and that's the Lucky Ones podcast. Cameron said I meant the square shoulders. That you already said it. Best rule. Oh, okay. Yep, I agree. I really like that rule. Um, but remember, the square shoulders only comes into play if one person says no to the consent. So if both people say yes, referees can go, are you athlete, are you good? Athlete, are you good? If both people say yes, they can have their shoulders anywhere. But if one person says no, I'm not good, that's when the referee will step in, square both shoulders up. Once the shoulders are squared and the referee goes to the hands, if the athlete turns their shoulders after the referee adjusted their shoulders, it's going to be a foul. I think that rule was great because I don't think there was one, at least from what I saw, there was any fouls from people carving in their shoulders. So I think that rule is great. I also think early starts, even out of a referee's grip, should be a foul. Um, Now that gets a little trickier. Um, it needs to be obvious. If it's not obvious, it's going to be called coincidental fouls, but it needs to be absolutely obvious that one athlete left early, then that will be a foul. Um, One of the biggest things with the Turtle Man rules is we're trying to eliminate benefits for people that foul instead of arm wrestling, if that makes sense. Um, and this is sorry, Nick, off up north to get the gains. Have a great day, everyone. No need to be sorry, Carolyn. Thanks for hanging out and definitely get those gains. We got to get those gains. Let's see, what time is it? It's 9:45. So, guys, we only got a little bit of time left before I head down to the dungeon. So, if you got any final questions, now would be the time. Let me know. Depending on the service at the dungeon, we're gonna do a members only arm wrestling practice. So if you guys want to see how we train, if you're not already a member, you're gonna have to become a member. All my training is up there. Everything that's not a recovery workout is up for the members videos. So if you want to see how we train, heavy stuff, medium stuff, arm wrestling, you're gonna have to become a member. Let's see. Is there anything else we'd like to talk about? Oh, Lucky says the love members perks. Everyone join. Thank you very much, Lucky. Definitely listen to Lucky. Become a member to Stone TV. Whole bunch of great stuff out there. Let's see. Yeah, I think we might have talked about everything that we could have talked about, I think. Well, all right, guys. I think we'll end on a high note. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got your gains in. If not, get your gains in later. Probably about 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. I'll have the video up in the dungeon, depending on service. We don't have the best service in the dungeon, but we're going to do everything we can to get that video up. But guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you very soon. Oh, missed the button.